Hi, everybody, and welcome back. This is video number 2 in our second year series. I wanted to take a few videos and discuss positive psychology and the components of positive psychology. I think sometimes when you're just kind of struggling um, with depression, anxiety, or PTSD, and a host of other mental and mood disorders, sometimes it's very, very hard for you to just kind of find positivity in anything. And so this is why I love this approach, because it really does help you focus on positive things in regards to just kind of gratitude, seeing the brighter side of things. And it's not in the sense of just kind of ignoring those negative things, but it's trying to filter in and eventually pay more attention to the positive. Again, not in the sense that you won't address the negative, but you've spent way too much time entrenched in the negative, and this model gives you an opportunity to look outside of that. And so it operates from strength based. So it's focusing on the client's strength. And if they don't know what their strengths are, it's helping them identifying and then building from there. It does not operate from a pathology model. So it's not disease based. It is just, again, strength based. It examines weaknesses but builds on and maximizes human strengths. So again, it's not ignoring your what they call weaknesses. It is exploring your strengths and then just kind of maximizing those strengths in your eyes, because sometimes you don't see the good of yourself when you've been depressed for so long, which is why some people feel so hopeless and helpless, and those are actually two predominant symptoms in depression, that feeling of hopelessness and helplessness. It emphasizes the positive side of human behavior, and it focuses on developing meaning, fulfillment, positive emotions, and connections. It addresses questions of happiness, vitality, and the meaning of life. And so that's another thing that I love about the model, is that it has a tendency to get really philosophical, but not in the negative sense of just philosophy, but just kind of the happy part of it, the positive part of it, questioning life, purpose, meaning. And again, it's a positive spin on it. And I love it because I'm a true optimist. And I think it's very much so possible to feel better practicing positive psychology. And so one component of positive psychology, like I absolutely love, is just kind of building happiness. A lot of us struggle with happiness, and it's almost like you feel, especially with social media, it makes it look like everybody else is happy and you're the only miserable individual. And that's not necessarily true. It's just that an image and a snapshot now seems like it's true happiness for some people, and not for others. And so we have to be very careful about those social media messages, because we don't know for sure if those people are happy. We just know that they've painted a picture of what happiness should look like, for other people, or if if that looks happy, then people who are sad and depressed or anxious will look at that as a blueprint for happiness. And all actuality, is not necessarily a blueprint, because that's for one, someone else, and two, it may not be real. And I'm not here to debate that point. What I'm here to just kind of help you guys understand is that your blueprint for happiness may not look like someone else's. And so looking at someone else's picture and just kind of gauging, okay, yes, that will make me happy, might not be a sound treatment plan for you. Um, so there's many proposed solutions to just kind of make you happy, to help you pay attention to joy. And so we're going to go through some of those. But I think the biggest thing is, I look at happiness. There's certain emotions that I also like to look at them as verbs. So happiness and love are two of those emotions that I like to look at as verbs. And so by that meaning, they take action. So happiness takes action. You can't sit there and just, all of a sudden, just, you know what, I'm just going to sit here until I'm happy. Well, you might be waiting for a long time. So the thing that you want to do is say, you know what, I'm going to go out, I'm going to find some happy, I'm going to create some happy, I am going to be happy. Right. And so happiness is trial and error. Right. So, one thing, again, like not to go back on the social media tangent, but what makes one person happy might not make the other person happy. And so we have to be aware, in sometimes in trial and error, what will make me happy in this moment, in this day, in this time. And honestly, some of the fun may be in discovering what does make you happy. Okay, so one of the things you have to do is when it comes to creating happiness and building happiness is laying the foundation. So just like anything you build in life, it needs a solid foundation. And so the way to build that foundation is just kind of pay attention to the way you perceive the world, like the way you perceive your life experiences and the way you interpret those experiences. um, if you focus on the negativity in the world and in yourself, then that's how you shape your attitude. That's how you shape your day. That's how you just kind of create and navigate the world around you. And so you can choose, like when you wake up in the morning, you have a choice. You have a choice to sit on the side of the bed and go, oh my God, I have to go to work or I have to go to school. Like you've already said, okay, I don't want to do this. And your mindset has already changed in that moment with that sound, with that thought in your head. You've already just kind of changed your day. So if that's the attitude that you wake up with and you're going to just continue that grumpiness throughout the morning, getting dressed for either work or school, you're going to start to rehearse that, oh, that annoying coworker, they're going to be here. Like I have so much work and I really don't want to do it. Or, my boss is going to ask me questions. The teacher is going to ask me about a homework assignment. We may have a pop quiz. So if you think about all of that, you're rehearsing all of that going through your day. So when you walk out into the world, you are going to be a little bit grumpy. You are going to feel, just kind of blah about the day. It's like, why go? And sometimes you may not go to work or school, which may cause further issues because now you're behind and you have to catch up, and now that's frustrating. So it's just compiling all these negatives to just kind of make a whole just hodgepodge of negativity, right? And so one of the things you can do to create happiness or practice positivity is when you wake up in the morning, just sit on the side of the bed, do three separate breathing. I don't want to say three separate breathing exercises, but do three sets of diaphragmatic breathing. And it's called bubble breathing or 4-7-8 breathing. And just say to yourself, like, I am going to have a good day. I can have a good day. I will have a good day. I am a happy person. I am capable of joy. Just any kind of affirmation or any kind of just hype yourself up. Hype yourself up and get yourself ready for the day. Start with music. I love to get up and dance. I really don't need music. I can have music in my head and just kind of dance around and enjoy myself. I'm also known to do so in the grocery store. And that's because I just like, well, anytime that joy just pops in my mind and it says a moment, like I catch a song and my brain, will say dance, and I will dance. I don't care who's around me. Now, my rhythm may be questionable, but like that's I'm still gonna dance. I don't care. And so one of the things again you can do is just notice and appreciate the good of each day, right? I was able to wake up this morning. I have a sound mind. I have a healthy body. If your body isn't healthy, then we can figure out ways for it to be healthy. We can eat differently. We can exercise. We can meditate. We can do yoga, whatever it is. Like figure out a way to take care of yourself and wake up wake up with joy, practice positivity. And I say practice because sometimes positivity doesn't come natural, especially after a trauma, or if you've been depressed or you've been anxious. It's not easy to just be positive because your brain has been so negative. And remember, in the previous videos, I've explained that the brain is an inherently negative place anyway. It operates to keep us safe. And so it's going to pick up negative information more than it picks up positive information. And so that's why I always say practice positivity. Practice, practice, practice. And so a lot of people believe that their circumstances determine how they feel. Like if the events of the day are frustrating, disappointing, or stressful, they assume that, okay, I'm just going to have a really bad day. But even in those situations, you have a choice. Like you can practice positivity, you can find something to be grateful for. So I found this wonderful story online, and it talks about one of the things it says is appreciation in action. So William was born with muscular dystrophy, and as if it weren't enough, he also suffered from various physical and psychological disorders. At age 12, his family expected him to support himself by selling drugs. His life was hard. Years later, he became a good friend to Wally's family. Once, Wally and his wife visited William at a time when he was confined to a wheelchair at a treatment facility. He was unable to walk, to work, or to carry on a normal life. As he was brought to the visiting area, Wally greeted him. "How are you doing, William?" He looked up from his wheelchair and cheerfully replied, "I can breathe." And it just doesn't get any better than that. Yes, Wally thought, breathing is a great gift. William was an inspiring example of someone who enjoyed life in spite of his difficult circumstances. Um, so I just thought that was a really beautiful story because he couldn't walk, he couldn't live normally, he was confined to, a wheelchair, and I'm sure it you know, took him some time to get there. It took William time to get to the point where he just appreciated breathing, but he was still alive. He could still breathe. Like he could still find some joy in life. And so that's all I'm saying by practicing positivity, focusing on things that you can be grateful for. Replacing your negative thinking habits with some positive ones. So if you're trying to make your day enjoyable, then, and it's frustrating, you've had like a kind of a bad day and it's like, okay, I'm struggling. So one of the things, you can close your eyes and picture something you've already enjoyed before, like whether it was a roller coaster, a time you had with your family. Just go back and visualize and put yourself in that moment and try to just get some joy from that. Take a walk with and focus on enjoying nature's and your surroundings. Pay attention to if birds are just kind of flying above and they're flying in a circle or they're flying in a loop, or pay attention to squirrels. Just zipping around, doing what squirrels do. I don't know, getting nuts. I don't know what squirrels do, but you get the drift, right? So explore your home and notice and appreciate things in your home that are meaningful to you. So looking at pictures of families, looking at things that you made on DIYs, which is my favorite. I love going around my house like, oh, look at what I made. It makes me so happy. So think of good people who enrich your life and list some of the ways they bless you. Get a journal or a notebook and write down at least 2 things that went well today. Make a habit of doing this every day. In all honesty, I do this with my clients. I told them to think about 3 things that brought them joy, or 3 things that they're grateful for, or 3 things they can give themselves credit for in that day. Because sometimes people feel like, I haven't done anything great, I haven't done anything good, my whole life sucks. And you want to, again, refocus. You want them to understand that no, life can be good, it can be great. Just hold on. Um, think over your schedule each morning and anticipate the blessings of the in the day ahead, right? So if I'm going to school, what are some blessings at school? Well, I get to see my best friend, right? We're having a pep rally, or Mr. So and so is giving us a free day, and or we're getting a free period. Ooh, I can get an extra piece of something from school lunch, and which that might not be a good example, because if you guys are anything like me, I did not eat school lunch. Well, except for pizza. I liked pizza. But anyway, so the same way with work. Well, I have my favorite coworker. She'll be working today with me. So we can go to lunch and cut up and laugh and just kind of have a lot of fun. You can call a friend, tell him or her about something you enjoyed today, or call that friend you know that's funny, that's willing to joke, that's willing to have a good time. Call them, celebrate the joys and successes around you. So if you saw which, yeah, if you saw something on Facebook and someone got a promotion or did something good, call them, congratulate them, join the fun on, social media, and just tell them, like, congratulations, great, whatever. Just don't focus on the negativity, and don't allow irritations to crowd out the positives. So, like, you're going to have irritating days, you're going to have challenging days, but try to make the choice to be positive, right? So focus on the positives in your past also. Like, I know I shared previously, like, I have a trauma history. And so when I was younger, a lot of what I focused on is what I didn't have, right? What happened, just being in foster care, not being with my sisters, not being with my extended family, the difficulty I just kind of had growing up. But when I look back, like, there were some things that were really fun. I mean, really fun when I was little. And I had a good time. Just with me too, like at 16, I started working two jobs to take care of myself. And although I worked hard, I was really proud of myself, because for a long time I had the thought and feeling that I was just kind of lazy and wouldn't amount to anything. And kids in foster care, you always hear kids in foster care aren't going to do well. Like, you're already like one leg behind everybody else. And I was just really proud of myself. The times, so that summer I just kind of worked two jobs the whole summer. I tried to hold on to them to the school year, but it was really important for me to make good grades. And so that was another thing too. Like, I made good grades throughout school, and with everything that I was going through, because I knew in my head that I was going to have to have good grades, and I was going to have to work hard to create a different life for myself. And I didn't want to be like some of the other girls that I was in the group home with. And so I look back on those memories. And so not everything sucked. They really made me, who I am today. And I really appreciate that. I really appreciate that times, right? And painful memories, like, and I'm not saying this in a way to just kind of shove them out. Feel what you need to feel. Like, I'm very open about telling my clients to feel what they need to feel. Sit in it if you need to. But my thing is, don't stay there. Don't stay there and let it bring you down or depress you. Just understand that this was your experience. You have thoughts, you have feelings. All of that is still in your body. It's still attached to your psyche. It's still having an effect on you. And that's okay, because one day it won't be a 10, it'll be a 3, right? And that takes some processing, that takes some talking, that takes using your coping skills. And so I'm not saying anything in a way to get over it. I'm saying that in the sense of just kind of acknowledging it, processing it, and then moving to the next step. Um, and those positive memories will just kind of help encourage you too. Like, when I look back on my life and I think about everything that I've been through, it's like, I have like some phenomenal skill sets. And I'm saying that so you guys can remember that you have some phenomenal skill sets too. Like, if you work hard, if you're smart, if you're funny, if you are just if you're courageous. Like, I'm sure most of us who've been through a trauma and came through it, we don't look at ourselves as courageous, but we are. Like, we are courageous people. Um, so, another thing you can do to build happiness is look forward to tomorrow, right? Like, when I go to bed, it's, with I in general. So, when you go to bed, rather, um, don't go to bed thinking, oh, I gotta go to school tomorrow, because again, you're going to bed with the same attitude in which you woke up with. So, just think to yourself, like, I am so excited to see you tomorrow. I'm gonna have a good day. Like, again, rehearse the same thing you rehearsed this morning. I get to hang out with my best friend. I get to hang out with my fun coworker. I get to have a really good time. We can laugh, joke, cut up. I get to see my grandparents. I get to visit my aunt. I get to play with my cousins. Whatever it is you get to do, look at that in an optimistic way, right? And it's the best part of it is just kind of practicing positivity, like refusing to just go down that negative spiral every time something challenging happens. Because a lot of times, if you answer to that negative spiral to get yourself out of it, some people go right into a maladaptive coping skill, and that means a negative coping skill. So some people will smoke, will drink, we'll have sex, we'll party, we'll do thrill seeking, all those things to just kind of make you feel better in the moment. And what will really make you feel better is learning how to use your coping skills and, again, practicing positivity. I cannot say that enough. That is my favorite saying, one of them. I have several, but practicing positivity is definitely one of them. So, knowing and using your personal strengths. One of the things that'll help you feel a little bit better, a little bit happy, is just kind of identifying the strengths that you have, right? Because some people feel depressed or sad or anxious, and then they start to get this very negative view of who they are as a person. And once that negative view sets in, it's so difficult to fight your way back from that. And so I often ask my clients to think of things that they like about themselves that have nothing to do with what they look like or own. And after a little while, like, it's difficult at first, but after talking and being in therapy for a while, they can begin to list those things. And so start to think about them. What can you identify as a personal strength? What are positive characteristics that come naturally to you? Are you creative? Are you smart? Are you conscientious? Are you kind? List those things out and put them around. If you're creative, surround them around you, put them on a board, make a little light out of them, whatever it is. Create, and put those positive things around you. So if you have trouble with the characteristics, list activities you love to do and that you excel at. And what does that tell you about it? Tell you about who you are as a person. So if you're a runner and you're really fast and you compete and you're all either coming in I almost said one place, but first place or second place, right? What does it say about you that you come in first place? Think about the drive and the initiative and just the passion, and the tenacity. Like, all of those are characteristics of a person that comes in first. I can come up with a slew of characteristics and adjectives to describe you. And so look for those things that you do well. Interview people who appreciate you. Ask them what strengths they see in you. Like, if you can't see it for yourself, allow somebody you trust. Not and then if you go through this exercise with another person, don't discount what they say. Appreciate what they say. Don't just say, "Oh, you're just saying that because you love me." No, I'm saying that because that's who you are to me. And so value those strengths, appreciate them, hold them close, understand that this is me. And if you don't understand that this is you, keep living life and identifying them. Like, Say if your friend is like, girl, I need someone to talk to. I had a really bad day. You're like, oh, tell me about it. Tell me what's up. Like, whatever. And you're there for them. That's a kind act. That's a nice thing to do. Take note of that. Like, I did do something nice. When your brain tries to tell you you're a horrible person and no one loves you or you don't have friends, and no one really cares about you. Well, that's not true, right? Because you have this friend that came to you because they really needed someone to talk to. And for me, that's someone that can, that trusts you. So one of the things you want to remember too is just manage to minimize your weaknesses. Because again, when you're in a negative headspace, when you're struggling with anxiety, depression, post traumatic stress disorder, all those things um, make it just more likely that you're going to focus on the negative. And so, again, practice, 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 focusing on your strengths. And then a lot of times, too, like when you start to look outside yourself and to be of service to people, it helps, right? Because you stop thinking about yourself. You're just not in your head rehearsing that you're a bad person, that you're a horrible person who did really bad things. It will just change your perspective, right? And so helping people, volunteering, spending time with children or spending time with elders, whatever it is, just doing something to take you outside of your self, and doing something for another person. Now this can get a little tricky because sometimes people will focus so much on other people that they don't give themselves the time and attention they need to just kind of tap in and yeah, and just tap in and deal with what they're feeling. I've had clients in the past that if I ask them, what are they thinking or feeling, they honestly can't tell me because they've been so busy throughout the day, just not paying attention, that when it comes time to just really tap in, they have no idea. Um, they have no idea how they're feeling. Um, So, like, all of those things are great. And so, for me, I'm all about the mind, body, and spirit connection. And so, another thing that'll help you just kind of build happiness is practicing mindfulness, right? We spend a lot of our lives just kind of on autopilot, just kind of shifting from task to task, working, school, taking care of kids, cooking, cleaning, talking to our friends on the phone, playing on our phone, eating on the go. Like all of it is fast paced and hurried. So what autopilot is for those of us who drive. If you notice, sometimes your head can be just kind of zoned out, but all of a sudden you're at the location you need to be at. Like you're paying attention, of course, or you would get in an accident if you weren't paying attention. But like you get there, like you've because of you just know the way by heart. You know it, and so you get there without any intentional. Oh, go left, go right, go left, go right. And so that's how we go through our lives sometimes, not with any direction. We're just kind of going and doing because we know we have to go and do. And mindfulness stops you from doing that. And what it does is it helps you to tap in. So you are focused on what you're doing. So let's say one of the examples of mindfulness is going on a walk, right? And if you're going on a mindfulness walk, you are noticing the green grass. You're noticing, like, say, if it's fall, noticing the colors of the trees, that there's orange, that there's yellow, that there's brown and green. You're noticing all of that and you're calling attention to it. You're not just walking aimlessly, just kind of like, again, on autopilot, right? And so this is good because, again, it's about tapping in. And so you're practicing mindfulness to to just kind of enhance your physical well-being, improve your interpersonal relationships, your job performance, your psychological health. Like mindfulness really does so much for you. So when it comes to, there's certain everyday mindfulness activities. There's one called raisin meditation, and it's the practice of mindfulness can transform normal everyday activities into something far more wondrous and meaningful. And you're supposed to begin by reflecting on a handful of activities that you engage in on a day-to-day basis, right? But which you often do in a mindless manner. And common examples for those may be walking the dog, brushing your teeth, eating a meal, taking a shower, doing dishes, driving to and from work, and cleaning your home. Some of the things that I named previously. But this week, you the like a whatever week, like a week coming up, you can choose one of these activities and focus. I mean, really focus on it. So if it's walking the dog, while you're walking the dog, pay attention to what the dog is smelling. Pay attention to the way the dog's feet, well, paws, feet are moving. Just pay attention to how those things are just kind of coming together on the walk. And that will just help you stay focused on and stay present. That's the word that I was trying to remember and just kind of lost. But stay present in the walk. Again, looking at the green grass, looking at the concrete, looking at the cars that go past, but not in the sense that, again, like you're mindlessly doing so, but just pay attention to those things around you. It's mindfulness is just one of those really great things to consider. Throughout this, I'll talk about a few more things that'll help you in regards to mindfulness exercises, goals for and structure, and things that will just kind of help you create and maintain happiness and positivity. Um, you know, um, we talked about the gratitudes. There's acts of kindness, there's exercise, meditation, positive journaling, fostering relationships. All of those are examples of how you can just kind of build and maintain happiness. The most powerful of those things that I suggested is really just focusing on practicing positivity, understanding that joy can be created and maintained. I repeated myself a lot on this video because I cannot stress enough how important it is um, to be intentional about building happiness, to be intentional about changing your mind, because it really does change your life. Um, when I decided that I was no longer going to allow people to tell me just define me. Like, you don't get to tell me who I am. You don't get to tell me what I do. And I don't mean that in the sense of being arrogant, but I mean that in the sense that I have taken charge and control of my life. And if I decide I want to be happy, no one can come in and just steal the joy that I've created and maintained. I will invite you to leave. On the quickest thing, on the first thing smoking, I will invite you to leave. And I just won't allow you to take away something that I've worked hard to create and maintain. And I'm hoping that you can do the same thing. I will see you guys next time. Thanks for joining me.